Hey, Princess India here. I just wanted to share a quick little bit of inspo with you. So, Spirit led me to start decluttering my life. I utilized the Kamari method and I started with my closet because the whole little process starts with clothes. And I wanted to share the finished product with you guys. Literally, my closet has never looked like this, like in life. Like, I'm literally not kidding. But that also inspired me to declutter the rest of my life. And as I cleaned, I got so many spiritual epiphanies. It started a whole little purge. I cried and things, a lot of releasing going on, but I feel so much lighter. And I just wanted to inspire you guys to take that into consideration as we're going into the retrograde. It's a great time to clear out your life, get a jump start on your spring cleaning, and it's also an explanation for why you're only going to see my hands this month, because the rest of my house is a total mess. I love you. On to your March reading.
Energy. Alrighty, Pisces, let's jump into your reading for March. We're going to ask Spirit to give us clear and direct guidance for my Pisceans for March 2000 and interesting. That's very interesting. I was about to say March 2013. That's weird. Maybe that has some relevance to someone, but I most certainly was about to say March 2013. So maybe that's important to a Pisces out there. Alrighty. So we're doing things just a tad bit different aside from the fact that you guys are looking at just my hands as I try to shuffle my new cards. But instead of boring you with explaining, I'll just show you. Okay, Spirit, clear and direct guidance for my Pisces for March 2013. Please, Spirit. Anything of utmost importance, anything they need to know? I ask that that come to the forefront in this reading, and I thank you in advance, Spirit. Okay, so first card, we're going to be looking at your main source of conflict or discontent in your life right now that's challenged by your main challenge to overcome. Then we have what you need to release in your physical space. I need to get used to doing this like this again. And then how to do it. Then we're going to look at what it is you need to release in your emotional space, as well as how to do that, what to release for your spiritual well-being, and how to do that. I'm trying to make sure I have everything on camera. This is hard. And then we're going to look at what to make room for, as well as how to do that. I might need to move them over just a tad bit. I have not done this in done readings like this in a year. Hold on. Oh, don't get really OCD, Princess. Sorry, Pisces. Okay. There we are. All right. First card. Your main source of conflict or discomfort. Tradition. The Hierophant. First thing that I heard was expectations. So the most difficult or conflicting thing, or the main theme of what may make you Man, I cannot talk. Uncomfortable. Discomfortable. Really, Princess? The main thing that may make you uncomfortable this March, and with this being the beginning of March and us going into the retrograde, this may be something that you'll be doing some self-reflecting on. It's pretty much your traditions, commitments, expectations. It could literally be your belief system, because it may be a belief system that you were brought up in, and it's the whole theme of what you guys are going to be dealing with in March is going to be centralized around that, right? This is going to be I'm dropping cards. This is going to be challenged by the Three of Pentacles, and I feel for this, to me, it's because with me hearing expectations, the biggest challenge for this is and I'm seeing this card differently than I usually would, but it's more or less in the sense of how would I say this? Lone wolf? Like standing alone in so many words. Like having the confidence to step out from under. You know what I mean? Because if you look at the Hierophant card and you're looking at the fact that you got your two little, monks here, they're bowing down to the Hierophant. And I more or less see for Pisces up until this point, this was the standard. And it's the standard that wasn't questioned. It just was what it was. You know what I mean? And I feel like throughout the beginning of March, this is going to begin to be something that you guys are questioning, or you may just simply come to the realization that whatever this symbolizes for you is not for you. For some of you, it could even be a marriage, It could be a relationship. And it's just at one point in your life this resonated with you, it was for you, but it just isn't anymore. And the challenge is going to be almost, because how I'm feeling it is in the sense of you guys stepping out and not having that support. It's like, because, sometimes if you'll make a decision and you have like family and friends that are like, oh my gosh, really great idea. Like we're behind you 100%. I feel like with this, it's going to be you guys kind of stepping out of the fold. So more or less like in opposition to what everyone that would typically support you may not necessarily be in support of this particular decision. So the challenge is going to be finding the strength, or if it's leaving a relationship, the, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a strategy to step out on your own. So say hypothetically, if it was like leaving a marriage, it would be trying to figure out, how you would handle bills on your own and so on and so forth, right? Now, what you need to release for your physical well-being, control. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Of course, we know this is destiny, like seasonal kind of things. So if you think about spring, summer, fall, and how they kind of roll in like clockwork, with this falling in the position of what it is you guys need to release for your physical well-being, it's releasing control, but not just in the physical sense, but this is a physical card, but I'm seeing it as releasing control not only in your physical life, like trying to control how things happen, right? But releasing to the divine in so many words. It's understanding that there's absolutely nothing that I can do to make summer come sooner than it does, because it comes when it comes. And it's needing to understand that, know that, accept that, and go with the flow, knowing that seasons change and not, and of course, it would sound kind of asinine to say, oh, let's try to control the seasons. But that's literally what we're doing in life. Because in life, there's X factors. There's certain things that are completely outside of our realm of control, but we still attempt to give ourselves the illusion thereof, right? So it's more or less releasing that. It's releasing this false sense of control and allowing nature to take its course and to surrender to the divine, or surrender to a belief that there's a support, because this could also be spiritual too. It could be someone who's very dedicated to a certain religious order or belief system, and having the courage to release and believe that you're going to be led into the right direction. Now, how you would do that? Wonderful. The Magician. How you would do that is manifestation in the sense of an inner power. So I'm seeing this more or less as like, okay, we think of it in the sense of like, okay, the Emperor would be like a illustration of how masculine energy is exerted powerfully, like in physical action, right? But with the Magician, it's more or less this power or this change or this surrender is released by stepping away from that Emperor way of doing things, like that physical strong arm control. And it's really about an inner state of surrender. And it's having that seat within the self, like that seat within the soul, that causes this wheel to turn. So it's almost like operating solely in the Emperor power, which is like the physical pushing, is what is preventing this wheel that is attempting to turn in your favor. But, and this is going to sound kind of tricky, by relinquishing control, right? By relinquishing control, is how one actually gains control, because you're relinquishing a false sense of control and stepping into true dominion, power, and control in the right way, which is manifesting from within to without, as opposed to trying to, turn the wheel in a way that's an illusion to the self, that false sense of control. It's Mercury retrograde, y'all. I hope and pray that that makes sense. Anywho, moving on. What's a release for your emotional well-being? Once again, the Strength card. For some of you, this could be a Leo person. And then I wanted to say that too. This could be a Taurus person. And then this also, of course, could be an Aries. But as far as for your emotional well-being, this again is that same kind of theme. It's releasing, how can I say this? And it could be a Leo person, but it doesn't have to be. But it's releasing the attempt to tame the beast. Of course, this card, when we talk about taming the beast, is talking about our lower self, right? Like our inner desires and things of the sort. But I'm more or less seeing this again as control. It's almost trying to tame a beast outside of oneself. And the only power that we have to tame any beast is our own. We can't tame someone else's beast, And I kind of get this vibe. It's almost like there's a clarity that has to come, because it's a little bit of it's a level of dishonesty with the self. It's like it's almost like a truth. A truth it's there and it's known, but I feel like there's a sense of it needing to be accepted, because to me, all of this is like projection. It's almost as if, like, if one is feeling out of control within the self, like I don't feel in control of my own life. So what I do is try to control everything outside of me, right? So it's, wow, that changes perspectives a tad bit. So it's almost, I'll try to control other people, and not necessarily in a malicious way, but almost like in a diversionary tactic kind of thing, like the savior complex, right? So it's like I heal others to, distract myself from healing the self type of deal. Like, that's kind of the same vibe I'm getting with this card, and it's reflecting off of this, This is trying to control something that is not controllable in an external means, but it's a need to take a seat of power within the self, right? But then it's like I still look at this with our main source of discontent. And we can look at this situationally, but then we can even look at Pisces potentially taking the role of this person, of wanting to be, in essence, what a pope would be, the shot caller. You know what I'm saying? Like final authority. This is what it is. Everybody fall in line type of deal. But that's being done to protect oneself from feeling out of control, right? And the challenge, in essence, could be, from another perspective, would be working with other people. So I kind of feel like it could be two different groups of Pisces that I'm talking about here, in the sense of, wow, that really is two different people. For some of you, it's being oppressed and needing to break away to stand alone, right? And that control is coming in the fact of trying to prevent having to stand alone. But it's a need for this Pisces to now step into their power, right? Because that's something they haven't been doing, because it's like they've almost been playing second fiddle to this person that isn't necessarily like qualified to be in that position. You know what I mean? And the challenge is to put in the work to or the effort, or having the courage to almost like manifest, because I'm seeing it like a lower kind of way. It's almost like manifesting the steps to get to this position, if that makes sense. But let's not get too much into that. Anyway, so how it is we need to release this little exterior control that we got going on for your emotional well-being is planning. 2 of Wands. Whew, that's interesting. It's almost meeting someone equally. Meeting someone equally, like on a level playing field. And then another way we can see this is by balance within the self. So how I'm seeing this in the sense of what's causing emotional unrest. Oh, thank you, Spirit. I was waiting on it. Okay. Why there's an emotional unrest is because it's trying to heal myself through others. So it could be a false core belief, right? That I'll never be, and this is just hypothetical, but I'll never be healed and I'll never be fixed. I'll never be happy, right? So the way that I take control of my wheel, because I have this false core belief, is by, like, because there's a need to step into the power, meaning I'm disempowered, right? So how I combat this, like, because this is how I'm showing up in my physical world, I'm disempowered and trying to control externally what's going on around me. And how this is being done is almost like a projection type of thing. I want to heal others, right? So I'm going to heal other people, help them tame their beasts, you know? But it's like, what I really need to do is to heal my own. I need to tame my own beast, right? And I'm looking at this more or less of needing to marry one's divine masculine and feminine, because it's the dissension within the self is causing one to have one foot stuck in the past and one foot towards the future, but it's still a lack thereof of movement because it's being in 2 different places. So it's desiring union within self, but having a false core belief that it's not going to happen, right? And there needs to be an integration within the 2 in order for you to move forward, because once that inner balance happens, right? And meaning that in this sense, right? Whether it's like planning for action moving forward, or actually our spiritual lesson of allowing our heart to take over our mind, because that's really what the Strength card is about. It's like, that's how you tame the beast, is allowing the heart to step back into its rightful place of authority, right? And that's how we're able to make those positive movements forward and no longer be stuck in 2 places at once, right? But I'm seeing this as projection. It's what it is that's being done for people outside the self is exactly what it is that needs to be done with the self. Now, mind you, with this being Mercury retrograde, if this isn't something that you guys have already come into, this very well could be a realization that you have during this retrograde period, is seeing, because I'm seeing this almost like a mirroring. So it's kind of that, you know, how they say that your external world is a reflection of your inner world. It's almost as if you guys coming to the realization of that, right? And this is going to be what will be let go throughout this whole little reflection period with the retrograde in Pisces, by the way. Anywho, what you need to release for your spiritual well-being. The Moon card. This is so interesting. I'm seeing this as a consistent. Okay, this is how it came to me. Like a never-ending dark night of the soul. It's a never-ending soul journey. It's always a seeking. It's always a seeking for something. It's like a never-ending journey. And it's almost like, for one's spiritual well-being, it's needing to give yourself the credit, like with the magician, that you already have all of the tools. So it's kind of like an insecurity. And that's why I say it's like a fear to step into one's power. So it's trying to control external situations, trying to, project, not trying, because when you project, it's just happening. It's like, facilitating or being a change agent for other people's change, but it's like avoiding that within the self, and it's being on this, like, this never ending dark night of the soul journey. And it's like, there's no need to be, you know what I'm saying? But it's like how I'm feeling it is like a disconnect, because it's like with the Magician, it's like all the pieces are there, you know? It's like the Hierophant isn't like a fake Pope where it's like, oh, you know, you're projecting this out to the world, but then there's nothing behind that. No, it's like the freaking High Priestess is behind the Pope. So it's like it's having the material world knowledge, it's having the spiritual awareness, but it's like them being on the level of dating for 10 years. And that is the craziest analogy. But it's like having a fully grown heart and a fully grown mind, and them still being in the dating phase after 10 years. It's like, you've been together for 10 years, my God. Like, what else do you want? Can somebody propose to somebody? Like, what are we doing? It's kind of like that. But the thing that I'm seeing is why you're going around the mulberry bush, because it's being afraid to step into your power. It's like being afraid of breaking away from the pack and you being you at full power, solo dolo. Like, there's some fear to that. So it's almost, if we looked at, you know, from the Magician to the Wheel of Fortune as spiritual lessons, and at the 10 you're supposed to graduate, right? It's like making the decision to just go around again. So instead of hopping out of this consistent circle, it's like choosing just to go around again, and you're just going to do the same thing. So it's kind of like if we graduated from our senior years of high school and decided to go back to kindergarten and do the whole thing again, as opposed to moving on to college. And that's what I'm seeing in this moon card. So it's a need to allow yourself to move on to college because you're well equipped, you know? But it's that, it's like a self-doubt or a fear of stepping fully into your power, maybe the responsibility that comes with it. But anywho, how you do that? There's our Emperor. You got a lot of major arcanas here. That's 5. 6, geez, Louise. That's a number of balance, BTW. When I looked at the time, it was 21:22. I don't know if that means anything to you. But yeah, man, it's stepping into your freaking power. And this is like the balanced version of it. Because like I was saying here, it's like being with the Emperor here, like trying to force it in reverse. Like I'm trying to control to keep myself backwards. And you see how I'm doing that? Because it's like it's taking you more energy and effort to go back than it would take you to just allow it to go forward, you know? So the way that you stop this never-ending journey is to take what you know and apply it, because it's like you're more than qualified. You have everything that you need. So to me, this really sounds like a self-doubt kind of deal, right? Now, what you need to make room for, thank you, 10 of Swords. Can we end this? Because, oh my goodness. Bam, bam. 10 and 10. Like, real talk, dude. This cycle, this has to stop. Because it's a fear. And it's all mental energy. It's fear-based. So it's making room for this rebirth to happen, you know? To allow the wheel to turn the way that it's supposed to, you, and for you to stop turning back the hands of time, trying to bring yourself backwards. But I feel like with this retrograde, it's really going to be you guys getting to the root of why you're so afraid to be in control. Why are you afraid to stand on your own 2 feet, step into your power, and you be the big baller shot caller, you know? So what false core beliefs are aligned with you taking dominion over your life? Because the overarching feeling that I feel is a fear. It's a deep embedded fear of being in control. And it could simply be of not wanting the responsibility, or having, you know, a little hidden feeling of you being incompetent, but the truth is you're not, you know? Now, how you make room for this? We got the 7 of Pentacles. So we can look at this a couple of ways. It's you putting in the work, or, because if we look at this as the traditional Rider-Waite, then it's like, you know, sowing your seeds and waiting for your harvest. But with the After Tarot, it's a done deal. It's like you still sitting up here looking at a fully germinated garden, And it's like you planted the seed in the first place so you could have your fruit. Your fruit is here, you know, it's ripe, it's done. Take your little damn pentacle and keep it moving. You planted the seed to get the harvest. The harvest is here. Take what it is that you did all of this for in the first place and move forward. Allow the wheel to turn, step into your power, because it is your time. So how I did that there, like showtime, your time, it's your time. Okay, that was kind of corny. Don't judge me. But yeah, Pisces, what it's looking like to me, it's almost like a little bit of insecurity there. But it's like, from what it's looking like, especially since you guys got 6 major arcanas in this piece, it's like, and then I'm noticing they ain't got no there's no Cups cards here. So it's like, so this is something where there's not even, whatever it is that you're holding yourself back into, there's no heart in it, you know. It's literally the most simplest thing I can say is being afraid of your power. But you're equipped. You are most certainly equipped. So stop patty caking. Trying to do for other people what you need to do for yourself. Have a nice little wedding for your heart and your mind. Dag nabbit son of a gun. Whoa. Seagull. Now is the time for deep emotional healing. Maybe that's what it is, why we don't see no freaking cup cards. It's because, are you turning backwards because graduating to this next level means you finally have to face your emotions and you don't want to face them? Because the challenge is having to look at how many times you have, I don't know why I'm dropping cards, how many times in your life you've bared the burden alone. It's not wanting to deal with that, keeping that little stoic face, you know, needing to always be the one in control that has it all figured out, the fear of falling apart. I tell this to one of my friends, one of my besties, who's a Pisces. I always tell her, like, you should just let yourself lose control. Just lose it. Just let all your emotions go ugly cry. You know, I was like, you'll feel so much better. And she's like, yeah, no. All right, we have Inner Temple. Devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. Just want you to look at that. Just saying. Heart, emotion, trying to prevent, and whatnot. Next, we have Transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level. Deep healing. Yeah, y'all are about to go through a major healing. So this, I look at this so interesting with the Moon card, because I say like a long journey. So it's almost like you've gone through the dark night of the soul several times, right? And it's like the reason why you keep having to go back through it, because wow, it's almost like spirit is blocking you. The reason why you haven't been able to get this little pinnacle is because you refuse to go through the death, because you were cool with, you know, learning lessons in the wand suit and the pentacle suit and the sword suit. But see them cups, oh, you wasn't about that life. So it's almost like you kept going through this over and over, and you've mastered every other suit except for your cups, your emotions. And now it's almost being strong-armed into a position where you have no choice but to. So during this retrograde, with this being a time of reflection, of reevaluating things and whatnot, it's more or less you guys reconnecting to your heart space and doing that deep emotional healing. Y'all always know that I say to reach out to your local neighborhood friendly therapist if you know, feel the need to, just to have a support partner in your healing process. But this retrograde, and especially with it being in Pisces, this is going to be very transformative for you guys. So I feel like you're going to come out of the other end of this with a complete new normal You know what I mean? A completely different perspective, because it's like you were about every assignment given to you except for these emotions. Like it's you just were not about these emotions, life. I'm mad at you. I ugly cried a couple of days ago when I was decluttering my life. That triggered so much stuff, and I was like, what is happening? What is happening to me? That was not what's hot in the streets. But afterwards, after all of that junk came up, I felt so much better afterwards. And that's why I shared with you guys in the beginning about that, because it's needed. You know, I'm a Taurus. We lie and say we don't have tear ducts. We lick our wounds alone. But ironically, I even allowed myself to cry with people I care about very much. And I'm usually the one that comes after I've cried. And it's like, oh yeah, by the way, I had some emotions the other day, no big deal. So it's not as scary as it seems. Oh, that is way too many cars, Spirit. Come on now. We hitting 30 minutes. Really, Pisces? Can I just get one card, Spirit? Just one. Just one. Thank you. All right. Your life is always a result of your thoughts about it, including your obviously creative thought that you seldom get what you choose. What? I feel like that was a punch in the gut right quick. Your life is always, italics, a result of your thoughts about it, including your obviously creative thought that you seldom get what you choose. Ain't that something? That was a punch in the gut. So that's like that quote, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're absolutely right. Well, Pisces, my beautiful Piscean person, that has been your March 2019 reading. I love your freaking face, and I'll see you guys sooner than later. Deuces.
Energy, about to get in and fuck up the energy.